Hey, what's up, y'all? Real quick, I want to make a very fast video. I just got done watching Rent live, or, well, Rent previously recorded, whatever you want to call it. First of all, we have to mention that as part of talking about this, is that it was previously recorded because Brennan Hunt, the actor who was portraying Roger in this, broke his ankle last night during the final dress rehearsal, so therefore he wasn't able to perform during the live showing of this. And unfortunately, because of that, that means that most of this was previously recorded. I mean, I get that, I understand, there should be understudies, but unfortunately there wasn't. I don't want to harp about that too much just because I feel like that's what the internet's already doing already. Even in my own Twitter's tweets that I've sent out, I've done hashtag Rent previously recorded instead of Rent live. So, I mean, I've made the joke as well, so I don't really want to keep pressing upon that because I understand that stuff happens and, you know, we just got to move on. Granted, the fact that they did move on, they did a phenomenal job. Yes, it was the previously recorded, it was the night before, so a lot of people may be saying it was the whole, like, save it for the live event, don't waste it all on the dress rehearsal, but I think the dress rehearsal that was recorded was done very well. So I know there were sound issues. That's to be expected. But yeah, the sound issues aside, I think it was still done pretty darn well. I really liked it. So I made a couple of notes on here. As far as the cast goes, I think the cast was fantastic. The only thing that I think was lacking, and I apologize, unfortunately I don't know all of the cast names on the top of my head, so I'm going to refer to them by the actual characters, which I'm immensely familiar with. Speaking of which, going back, I really love Rent. I would say it's probably one of my favorite musicals of all time. So I know the cast, I know how it's supposed to go. And watching this, I was able to pick apart like some of the things that they were doing that they changed. I'm also not wanting to harp too much on what they changed because it was network television, because of the FCC. They had to change some things like La Vie Boheme. They had to change from singing about dildos to latex. I get that. I completely understand. That's perfectly fine because, I mean, you got the FCC, so that's a whole nother subject that I don't want to get into right now. I like Angel. Angel did pretty good, but I thought, like, especially during the Today for You, Tomorrow for Me performance, I thought something was just not quite there. And I thought Collins was a little too cheerful. He was a little too happy and smiling, not quite as dour as he is like in the performances I've seen, the stage performances I've seen, and also the movie. In Benny's You'll See Boys, why did they edit out Think Twice Before You Poo-Poo It? That's not the FCC. That was just weird. And maybe they took that out just because that's a weird sounding line. Even when I first heard it, I was like, think twice before you poo-poo it? That's okay. Right before the Over the Moon performance, they showed them walking through like the street vendors, and one of the street vendors happened to have the original Mark Cohen's sweater. That was a fantastic nod. I thought that was absolutely hilarious, just amazing. Great little nod there, so fantastic on their part for doing that. Vanessa Hudgens, that's probably like one of the only actresses that I actually knew by name going into this. I thought her performance of Over the Moon was a little bit overacting, which I get. I mean, Idina Menzel in the original, it was overacting. She had her character of Maureen, and then she overacted as Maureen to do Over the Moon. I get that. I think Vanessa Hudgens kind of took it like a couple of steps higher. It was just kind of weird. But that note that she held, oh my god, that note was absolutely amazing. Probably my biggest complaint on this was the hat job done during the performance of La Vie Boheme. Just absolutely disgusting, just unnecessary edits. They took out like the part of the waiter who was reciting all their food, including the meatless balls. Ew, disgusting. Not if you close your eyes. Okay, maybe I understand why they took that out. They picked apart certain things of it. The stuff that I thought they were going to edit out of it, surprisingly, they didn't edit out. So, I mean, other than what I was talking about with the latex comment earlier, the stuff, like, I thought they were going to edit out, like, all the stuff about... Oh, man, I don't even want to get into it because it's kind of political, but... like the sodomy and S&M, the mucho masturbation line. I thought all of that was going to get cut for network TV, and it wasn't. And I'm kind of surprised, and good job for at least sticking to that, if that was in question. I don't know. There was a lot of unneeded political statements during that song, though. Towards the end of La Vie Boheme Part A, there was where they introduce all the individual characters. They sing like a small, like, little thing about them. They completely changed all of that. I loved, was it the Mimi Marquez, clad only in bubble wrap, dancing, doing her lawn chair dance to the sound of iced tea being stirred. Absolutely funny line. Or Mark doing a documentary about his inability to hold an erection during the high holy days. It's extremely funny. Like, I kind of get, maybe, especially on that one, why it was edited out. Again, maybe TV censors had something to do with it, FCC, but man, they replaced it with what sounded like a very strong political statement. And I'm not big for politics. I don't feel like I swing one way or the other. I just feel like it just seemed a little bit unnecessary. I'm not sure. Let me know down in the comments exactly what you thought. I don't know. I just feel like they kind of destroyed La Vie Boheme, which I thought was one of the strongest songs other than Seasons of Love. That was one of the strongest songs of the entire performance of Rent, so it was weird. Speaking of Seasons of Love, the narrative style that they used, when they came back from that commercial, I was expecting to see, like, the cast lined up, as we typically see any performance of Seasons of Love. It's usually the cast in a line on the stage, all singing in unison. And they didn't do that. They did a very different narrative style with, like, all the cast sprawled out throughout the set, Mark walking in and out of people while starting the song. And then we did cut to Kiala Settle, who was playing the leader of the life support group, and she sang the female solo of that portion. And while I think she did good, I think some of her voice sounded a bit reserved, probably because it was the dress rehearsal. I love Kiala Settle. I loved This Is Me from The Greatest Showman. In fact, I really love that musical as well, but I felt it was kind of lacking in the fact that it was jumping from like other people during the life support for Seasons of Love. It was just kind of weird how that was set up, but I liked it. I thought it worked. I just would have liked to have seen how that would have turned out during the actual live show of it. And let's see, out of the rest of the cast, Joanne, I think Kirstie Clemens was kind of lacking through all that. I don't think she actually made a huge statement until the Take Me or Leave Me number. I think she did phenomenal during that, as did Vanessa Hudgens, but I think Kirstie Clemens was like on the top of her game right during that segment. I think that's, for the most part, that's all the notes that I had taken while watching it. Cut to the end when it actually came back from that last commercial and you saw it said live up in the corner. From that point on, it was absolutely amazing. Yes, we got to see Roger was sitting there with the cast on his leg, and man, his foot looked... You could see like his toes were still swollen and stuff poking out the edge of that cast. But that whole entire finale number was just absolutely amazing. This is one of the few finales, or musicals, I would say, especially during the finale, that I would say typically would bring a tear to my eye. That finale was fantastic. It still made me tear up. And, I mean, that means it was a success. If it did that, it pulled off what it was supposed to do, what it wanted to do. So I was glad that at least the finale of that was still done live. And then after the finale, sorry, let me backtrack a bit. During the finale, they pulled up the whole screen. Typically, in most showings, the movie and the Broadway that I saw, the screen that they would post up, they would actually be showing Mark's movie that he's been working on, that he's been talking about working on throughout the entire production. And instead, they posted up a thing about Jonathan Larson, the creator of Rent. And I thought that was a great way to do that. And then, of course, Angel pops up at the very end and joins them on stage. And then the panel lifts up and you see the entire original cast singing Seasons of Love, and that was absolutely amazing. Anytime you get the original cast involved in a production like this, it's so good. Absolutely love it. That was I would say that would be worth the price of admission alone, was just to see them, all of them on stage. Overall, I think the performance, the fact that we were watching the previously recorded performance from last night was fantastic. And I think they did a phenomenal job, even if they were in the mode of save it for the live event. I would have liked to have seen them perform live and giving it all the gusto, and even though Roger actually did break a leg, apparently. That's not normally something you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to break a leg to heart. But he did, and we got what we got. That's going to be it for this video. If you like this, check out my other videos. I typically do vlogs. Like and comment down below. Let me know what you think, or let me know what you think of me. Was my review completely out of left field, or do you agree, disagree, whatever? Subscribe, please. That would be awesome. I need to get some subscribers to build this channel up. Also, I typically do movie reviews over on a channel called Cinefanatics. Me and my brother run a movie channel. I would have put this here, but I was kind of reviewing a stage production instead of a movie, so I didn't want to put it on Cinefanatics. But if you do like movies, go check out Cinefanatics. You will like what you see over there. We've got some great content. That's going to be it, and I will see y'all later.